do it live. Okay. Well, do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
Good evening and welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. Happy New Year, everybody. Hey-o. This is the show that talks about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling. The show originating from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, Bomb City, USA, Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evenings, a live fire, fun, and frivolity show. If you would like to get in contact with the show, or if you would like to follow the show during off-show hours, here's how you do all that.
You can get in touch with the show by sending an email to Greg at bbqcentralshow.com. Follow us on all the social media channels at BBQ Central Show. And be sure to subscribe to the show podcast feed on your favorite podcast platform.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening in case you can get the newsletter. By the way, if I could, just for a moment, ask for your weighing in of thought on the aforementioned show newsletter. And since we are not doing it live.
We'll do it live.
We're not doing it live tonight. We are pre-recorded. I'm in Houston tonight, so we're dropping Wednesday and Thursday. I'll get to who's going to be dropping, but I did mention it last week during the 2025 Year in Review show. I'm wondering where value is, if at all, in a newsletter. If I promised that I will post on the Facebook show page that I will do a similar post every Tuesday letting you know who's going to be on the show. Or maybe you don't even care who's going to be on the show. Maybe you're tuning in no matter what. You're only an audio podcast listener. You don't subscribe to the newsletter. You don't follow me on you don't do anything. You're just a consumer audibly. And any of the things that I'm mentioning couldn't care. You couldn't care less. I need to know that because I am very much considering canceling the newsletter platform altogether. Is it a tremendous amount of money? Not necessarily. Is it some money? Yes. Could that money go to other places? Yes. But ultimately it is there a continued ROI on this money? And I'm thinking for as many people as I see dumping off of it each week, I think we're at 600 or 700 total subscribers when we were broaching 1,000 a couple years ago. I'm wondering if email newsletter technology is just something that people are getting sick of. It's just another piece of email that they're getting. They're trying to thin the inbox herd, if you will. So let me know through email, yes to newsletter or no to newsletter, and I would certainly appreciate it. Okay, here's what's happening on the show. Coming up on the first Tuesday of 2026, you know him, you love him, the pitmaster of Killer Hogs competition team when he does compete. Otherwise, the co-founder of How to Barbecue Right, Malcom Reed, shows up. And we have a number of topics to talk to Malcom about. We're going to be talking about gifts that he got last year, best gifts that he gave last year, what 2026 outlook looks like from a trend standpoint, We're going to be talking about open fire cooking. We're going to be talking about the open fire edition of Memphis in May. We'll also talk about this $1 million barbecue World Cup that everybody continues to hear about. I'll have a take on that here in a second. So Malcom Reed will be your first interview of 2026. We're probably no surprise to you. And that'll bring a close to the first hour, if you will. And then we'll move to the second hour, where you will find none other than the first Tuesday of the month recurring guest in the second hour, our pal Sam the Cooking Guy. And it will come as no surprise that I have a well thought out and curated outline on topics I would like to hit with Sam. That means we probably will hit minimal amounts, but you never know. New year, new me, and holding Sam to the agenda. Not that he doesn't go off the handle on his own. It's just the way natural conversation takes itself. But every time I do have a plan to hit with Sam, and then it's like, how much of that plan are we going to get in, and how quickly are we going to find our way off path, and then how far off path are we going to take it before we rein it back in. So Malcom Reed, you will hear on Wednesday, and Sam the Cooking Guy, you will hear on Thursday. Once again, I am in Houston on Tuesday, as Wednesday brings a new round of scans for my wife, making sure that we're keeping that sarcoma that she has been fighting over the last couple of years. Make sure she's keeping that at bay. And I will say this, and I rarely ever talk about it, but where we go in Houston, MD Anderson, especially if you have rare cancer, she had an incredibly rare sarcoma, and they were instrumental in her being alive January 3rd of 2026. So I say this as somebody who has been through it, not actually having it side, but in the support role. Never be afraid to ask for a second opinion. Never be afraid to question the doctors. Yes, they are the doctors, but they are human beings, and they deserve and should expect to be questioned at every turn. Every answer they give you should be questioned. You should not be following with blind faith. If we followed with blind faith, there is a huge chance that my wife would not be here right now. We would have took blind faith information from a doctor here in Cleveland, who, not to contradict myself, of course, but I do live in hypocrisy, was also a big reason why she is here. But up front, if we would have listened, there's a very good chance she would be dead today. Always question, always advocate, always get second opinions, especially in instances where it is paramount life and death situation. Line somebody else up. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. It doesn't matter if a doctor gets their feelings hurt because you are questioning what their diagnosis is. In these instances, they should expect to be second-guessed. They should expect to have second opinions, and they should be offering second opinions themselves. And if they're not, do it yourself. And if you need any more information on any of that, MD Anderson, what we did, our journey, please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to share what we have gone through and what steps we took to ensure that we were getting the most eyeballs on a situation that was dire, to be honest. And hoping for great news on Wednesday as this actually drops. So if you need any assistance or counseling or somebody to talk to in this area, please feel free to reach out, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com, and I will be happy to lend what I know and the experience that I have been through in this regard. Starting here tonight and getting through it very quickly, for as much initial jump and initial posting as we had heard about the Barbecue World Championship over the last week and a half, I would say there has been a lull in the amount of posting. The website continues to be, and I spent a lot of time on that website last night, digging through all of the posted questions with the setup pre-answers to all of those. It's a lot of nothing right now. There's not a lot of any information on qualifying events, even though we're still 3 days into 2026. I would imagine that's something you would want to have solidified by now or almost solidified by now, so you can start rolling those out so people can start making their plans. Also, when is the actual finals going to be taking place in 2027 in Las Vegas? Figure you want to start nailing that down, although there does appear to be a little bit more time. The good news is this.
A Barbecue Central Show exclusive news
Here's
update.
the good news. In a couple weeks, I believe it's January 27th, Scott Erdman, co-founder, CEO of Barbecue World Championship, will be coming on. And we're going to be talking to him about the event, how it came to be. If you go to the website and you click on the About, there's some very positive bios that are on there. Very impressive. But you know me, it's nuts and bolts. Where's the money coming from? Number one. Is this going to be like a Sam's Club? Do people know how unprofitable Sam's Club was when it was actually running? Like, as I mentioned last week, a lot of people like to take a shit on it while it was happening, and it was a great event. But from a money side, I don't know how many people know what the operations were like. We can get into that down the road. Or maybe we don't get into it ever. But I know a lot of people. There's the governing body that's listed. How were those people put on? Why? What qualifies or makes a competition qualify as a potential qual? A lot of questions. Where's that money come? We will learn all about it in a few short weeks. So stay tuned for that. Now, before we get to Malcom Reed, who is ready to go, I'm asking you this. Are you looking for more smoke flavor out of your pellet smoker? Because let's be honest, sometimes they taste more like fancy ovens. Do you want that stick burner flavor without the stick burner work? Who doesn't, right? Unless you're enjoying tending a fire all day, smelling like a campfire. Nobody wants that. Look no further than Smokin' Pecan Pellets. Smokin' Pecan Pellets are made out of 100% pecan shells. Nothing but pecan shells. No fillers, no binders, no artificial flavor enhancers. Your meat is going to thank you. Your wallet might thank you as well if you realize you're not just paying for sawdust. Smokin' Pecan Pellets are a premium cooking pellet that burns hotter, lasts longer. That means your pellet smoker will consume less pellets compared to most other wood pellet brands. More time to relax. Everybody likes that. Their pecan shell pellets have a robust flavor that pairs well with a variety of meats, including the standbys like beef, pork, and chicken. Also, really complimentary on fish and wild game. Even your weird Aunt Maud, who only eats boiled chicken by choice, might actually enjoy this. But who knows about Aunt Maud? She's a kook. Get the smoke, burn the shells. Really, it's a lifestyle. Promo code for 10% off when you visit the website smokinpecan.com, S-M-O-K-I-N, smokinpecan.com. That's P-E-C-A-N, Smokin' Pecan, for those of you that like to say it like that. In any event, you get money off when you use promo code BBQ Central at checkout, because who doesn't love a good discount, especially when it comes to delicious barbecue? I do. Smokinpecan.com, and then as you're loading up the cart, 10% off your order now and forever, or at least until the promo's good. BBQ Central at checkout for 10% off. All right, let's visit with Malcom Reed for the first time this year. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back to this portion of the show being brought to you by Fireboard, makers of Fireboard 2, Fireboard Pro, Fireboard Spark, Fireboard Beacon, and the wireless Fireboard Pulse. When you have the Fireboard app, you have total access to all devices anywhere in the world as long as they're connected to your network. Find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232. It's the first Tuesday of a month and the first Tuesday of a new year. Holy moly. So you know where we're going to go. Racing to the hotline and welcoming back for the first time this year our pal Malcom Reed. Malcolm, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Greg. Good to be here, man.
We have a Would You Rather YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody. Malcolm, would you rather have your face printed on money or your own small town named in your honor?
I'd take the town.
Yeah, me too.
I'd take the town.
Town, because perhaps you can also lead the town if you're still alive. So to me, the second part of that is maybe you're dead and they're naming it posthumously, but I'm going to think positive and that we can kind of run that town, and then it's also named after us. So how's the holiday season for you as you wrap it up?
It was great, man. We've had a good time. Enjoyed being off. Me and my son got to do a lot of hunting, and we've kind of taken it easy, visit with family and friends, and just ready to get back to it in 26.
Best gift you got over the holiday season?
Oh, wow. That's tough. Man, I got a cool pocket knife. I don't know if you could see it. I got it in my pocket right now.
Yeah.
But it's called a half face, and it's like a hunting knife, but it's a pocket knife, and I love it.
Wow.
My wife gave it to me.
Is it a Gerber?
No, it's a half face.
Oh,
it's made in the U.S.
Got it. Half face. Yeah. Nice. All right, not familiar with that. I'm more. I've heard of Gerber, and there's some other brand that I can't remember off the top of my face or off the top of my head, but I'll have to check that one out, and in case I'm in the market for another one. Do you care? Are you a pocket knife carrier in general?
I try to be.
Yeah.
It's always handy to have one on you. It's just kind of a habit I've had going for a lot of years, and you never know when you need a blade for something.
Yeah, I find as I've carried it, and I've done it for well over 10 years, you don't realize how handy and efficient it is until you actually carry one, and you find multiple times during the day you're grabbing it out of your pocket. Here's something I've added almost to the year to my everyday carry. So I do have the Gerber knife. So this is pretty big. But I've also added a tactical flashlight to the mix. So it can...
I like that.
I'm not going to say that this is more utilitarian than the knife. I do think more times during the day I'm using the knife. But I have found carrying the flashlight, I use it quite a bit. Maybe more than I would normally just because it's on my person. But having those two items in my pocket, I think have really completed my everyday carry. And then, under the cover of a jacket or a shirt, Springfield 3.3 45 ACP. You a gun carrier?
There you go. I keep one in my truck. I don't, I usually don't keep it on my person, but I've got a little 380 I keep in my truck, and I have a 9mm that I take with me too if I need it. So, but I'm not, I don't believe I'm not, taking every single where I go. If I'm going, if I'm going to the city, I'm usually going to have one on me, but around town, not so much.
Best gift you gave this year?
Oh man, that's tough. That's real tough.
Oh, I know the answer, by the way.
We got Michael a golf simulator for the garage. Does that count as a good gift?
Yeah. I think the best gift you gave this year was the gift card to the Marble Room that made it my way. Holy moly!
We hope you could use that.
I haven't.
Shell comes up with some good ideas, and she does a little research, and that's kind of. We sent Kevin one down in Panama City or Pensacola, and then we figured we did a little research to see what you might like to go to. Hopefully you can take your wife and y'all can enjoy a nice dinner out.
I mean, it has gotten rave reviews for the handful of years it's been open. So little history, not that you care, but it was originally a bank that they have converted into a restaurant. So there's a lot of, they left a lot of the bank architecture, all that stuff. But super fine dining, so we have not been yet, but it's one that we've always talked about. When we're like, hey, we should go, you go to make reservations. They're booked 6 weeks out on a routine basis. So this is something, it's an event, you got to plan for it, so this will go to great use, and I certainly appreciate that. And we'll let you know when we get there how it was.
Yeah, I want a review.
Yeah. So you had mentioned before we started laying this down that you were getting ready to leave to go on a hunting trip. Last year, about a year ago, you were in North Dakota taking down bison, which we learned all about. So where are you headed this time?
We're headed up to Reelfoot Lake in Tennessee to do some duck hunting. So we'll spend a couple of days up there before school starts back and hopefully get a chance to shoot a few birds.
Do you eat those post-shot?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ducks are delicious.
What's the best way to have a duck, or are there multiple
Man,
ways?
I like keeping the fat on it. You kind of leave that skin on it. Of course, you got to kind of sear the feathers off, get it plucked. But when you put it in a hot iron skillet and just render that fat kind of slow at first, you'll start melting it, and it'll get a nice crust on the skin. And you flip it over, crank the heat up, baste it with a little butter, keep it medium rare. Just like you would a good fillet in a cast iron steak. It's absolutely delicious, but it's also great grilled. The most typical way is probably roll-ups. I know you've seen people take a piece of deer meat or duck meat or something like that, put it in a jalapeno cream cheese, wrap it up in bacon. Everybody knows that one, but I like to keep it on the medium rare side, kind of make a little gastric sauce to go over it, something like that, and just man, it melts in your mouth.
So is that something that you're eating like at duck camp, or you take that back, you process everything, and then you cook it after?
Yeah, usually we bring them back home, vacuum seal them up, and as you get enough, because duck breasts aren't very big, but it depends on how many people we're cooking for, we'll toss them out and we'll eat duck one night. It's not something we eat all the time, but it's really good.
So let's transition a little bit. One of the biggest topics on the show over the last 2 months of 2025 was the coverage of open fire cooking. And you were down at a event called the Open Fire Meetup. I had Rashid Phillips on the show. He was down there. We talked to him a little bit about it. Ended up having Al Fragoni on the show. I'll talk about him here in a second. What was your take on that event, and what did you do specifically down there?
So I'm going to tell you, that's one of the best barbecue grilling type events I've ever been to, because it was a contest, but it was more geared towards the public and coming to see what this live fire cooking was all about. So you had, I don't know how many teams, I think they had nearly 40 teams there from all over the world. And man, it's not just going and seeing typical smokers or something like that. This is these big open fire pits. Of course, they had all the iron coming up where they could hang meat over coals. And the deal was every team was really trying to get the public involved. So they're outside their booth, they're handing out samples. They're trying to get it's basically like a people's choice thing for the main day. The first day was just all about kind of content creators and things like that. So it was some demos, people getting up talking about, where they're at, what they're doing, where they're from, their style of cooking, things like. It was just a big social thing on the Friday. And then that day I did a panel along with Jess Prowse, Cosmo, and Heath Riles. And so we set up and we just kind of fielded questions. There was a moderator. We stayed up there and talked for probably 45 minutes to an hour, something like that. But there's a lot of that going on all day long. And then the next day, I was lucky enough to be one of the finals judges. So they did kind of a preliminary round where they actually turned in a sample box to the judges. And then they had a people's choice element of it too. And then they had a finals round, the top 5 teams. So I got to go. I walked around all day, but I tried not to eat stuff. It was hard because everywhere you go, somebody's trying to get you to sample something, and we wanted to be fair. So I kind of pushed back and waited till the final round. But man, it was really crazy because we had teams from 5 different countries in the finals. I had some amazing stuff. It was really, really good. And so it was fun. It was different. And I think it's something that barbecue needs is that live fire element or a way to get the public involved, because there's a reason to go. Oh, look at that. I love it. Oh man. Mr. Whiskers. Now what's his name?
That is Charlie.
Charlie. Okay. I've got a Smoky.
Yeah. Technically he's they call him a black smoke or a blue smoke.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Whatever.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Sorry for
but yeah, man, that event, it was definitely one to get to. I had an absolute blast. I'll definitely be going back next year to be involved some kind of way.
So for the 2 days that you're down there, like what is most inspiring to you as somebody who has been around a lot of traditional barbecue competitions? Like what inspires you that's outside the norm?
I think it was, well, for one, you're learning about these different people's ways of cooking. You know, we've got people from all over the world that I've never been around and seen some of the styles of it. It's not as polished as, say, barbecue. It's not a sauce contest. You know, this isn't the presentation isn't the key. Of course, you always eat with your eyes first, but just seeing what goes into cooking some of these animals that they were cooking over live fire. And what was cool about it is like, it's not a ribs, chicken, brisket, pork. It's whatever, it's dealer's choice. You can cook whatever you want live fire, and that's what you can turn in. So, I mean, in the final round, for example, we had moose, we had whole hog that they cooked over fire. We had, I think it was a dish from Paraguay where it was like a ribeye steak with eggs and ham and all turned into a sandwich. The guy, Mark Lambert and the guys from Boar's Night Out teamed up with a team, and they did an enchilada style rib. That was probably one of my best bites of the day.
Wow.
And it was the only one that was kind of more barbecue on that line, but it was super good. I mean, and it was tough, man. You know, all 5 of those teams could have won. And so you had to like kind of pick out what the best was, and it was kind of spread out. And, you know, it's one of those things where I'll remember that. I'll remember judging that. I've never judged anything like it.
So in keeping with this build of popularity and interest in open fire, Memphis in May is adding an open fire world championship here in 2026. Big change to their lineup. Nobody knows that better than you. Do you find that to be a bit shocking that they're including this?
I was thrilled to see it. I think it's great because when you're trying to set yourself apart as a contest, especially like a world contest, you need that element of it. I think that's one of the things that the Jack's cool. They get all those international teams that come in and they have a division just for them. So we're going to kind of see that in Memphis in May. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a team from out of the country that's going to be competing, but they definitely have a fair shake at it. And I don't know exactly the parameters of what they're going to do to pick the teams that get involved in that, but man, it's going to be exciting. And it's definitely a reason for you and I as the public, a non-competitor right now, to go out and to see something that's totally different, to be able to get involved, to try the stuff. That was what was cool to me. It was like, at a contest, barbecue contests aren't really set up for the public. I mean, you could go and spectate, but there's not a lot of involvement with the teams. Well, those teams are out there barking like carnival people, trying to get you to come up and want to interact with you and want to give you something to eat. And so that right there is worth buying a ticket because you're going to try some fantastic stuff when you're out there. So it makes it feel like one of these big Rib Fest or one of these, these big events like the Windy City Smokeout, some of these things that have been in the past that really draw big crowds. That element's going to draw it for Memphis in May.
So when I had Al Fragoni on beginning of December-ish, and we talked about how this open fire is really starting to gain steam, and he also mentioned, or I asked him if he thought he might try and take this style of cooking and turn it into something that might be akin to, let's say, a KCBS or some other kind of sanctioning body. He didn't say no, and if he said yes, it was like, hey, let's try and bolt it on to an existing event first. But ultimately, he did kind of acquiesce and say he thought this is something that could stand alone and go across the country. Do you believe that something like that could be a success?
I think it could, just because of the newness of it, and it's different. And it's outdoor cooking. I mean, that's kind of their thing is they don't want to see smokers. They don't want to see manufactured grills. They just wanted you to be able to build a fire and cook something over it, which is, that's a whole different aspect of what I learned to do. I mean, and I've started playing with it a little bit, cooking over fire pits and on a Santa Maria style grill, and it's different, man. It is. It's, you a lot of times when you see them cook it, man, Al's all about don't trim the fat off the meat, just season it and get it over the fire and it may not be the prettiest thing you've ever cooked, but man, it sure tastes good. And that's, I love that essence of it. The simplicity, it's kind of taking it back to a different style of cooking that's not all fancy bells and whistles.
Would you compete in something like that?
Man, I really like being on this other side, Greg, where you get to try this stuff. Now, I could see myself doing it with a team. And that's the one thing. I don't think this is really like a solo operation.
Yeah.
You need a full-blown team to do this because there's a lot of moving parts in it. And it's, it's something to see. It's more, I would say it's more of a spectacle. Like you come out and you see what the setup is and what they're doing. If you're into cooking at all, you're really going to like it.
So as we're into the new year, everybody likes to give a couple predictions that they think is going to happen over the course of the year, new trends, something like this. Anything that you're keeping your eye on?
Oh man, if I had to pick one, it's going to be this live fire cooking. Really, I think we've already seen it start to come. It was the flat tops, and then it was the pizza ovens for a while. Now I think you're going to see people. These fire pits are going to the smokeless fire pits. I know you've seen some like the Brio, the Solo stoves, those type things. They're making it to where the average guy can just get one and put it out on his patio and buy the attachments and be able to cook live fire. So I think that's kind of a natural evolution of grilling or cooking outside is to be able to learn that. So I think we're going to see more of it.
Where do you see the YouTube channel, or what are the goals for 2026?
Man, just to keep putting out good content, to try to stay relevant. I mean, we're always trying to come up with ideas to set ourselves apart, to take it to the next phase or whatever. I'm really concerned about all this AI stuff, man. I'm an old guy, so it's hard for me to spot some of it. And I know that it's going to eventually take over in the barbecue world. You're going to have these people creating videos, and you're going to have to figure out if it's real or not. And so I want to stay genuine. I don't want to get into that stuff. I want to do more cooking where it feels like we're just hanging out. We're not necessarily trying to do a recipe, but it's more lifestyle stuff, things like that. So if I'm out in the smokehouse cooking, it's just going to be, man, I'm hanging out. Let's try something, see if it works. And it may not all be the best, but I feel like, when you've done as many recipes as I have, there's not a whole lot of, new stuff to do that way. We just have to find a way to still keep it entertaining, to give people a reason to watch. I mean, podcasts are as big as they ever have been. I know you've been super successful at it, and our podcast is steady growing too. So that's something that we like doing. I plan to double down on that, and man, just keep the ball rolling.
What about?
I did get some bad news.
Oh.
I got some bad news. I got to have a little surgery this year on a knee, so I'm going to be out of commission for a little bit. But I hope it's not going to stop me from being able to do a podcast and do some cooking. It might slow me down traveling a little bit, but
so is it a repair? Or are you getting a replacement?
No, it's a total replacement. Yep. So I'm trying to push it till later on in the year. Hopefully, if I can make it through.
Outside of YouTube, outside of the podcast, you do have quite a good barbecue empire going from a business side. Any particular goals you're looking to achieve in 26?
Man, we're always just into expanding our product line and getting better distribution and just making stuff available, all over for people instead of just having to come to one website and order it and wait. I think that's kind of our goal, and we've kind of put ourselves in a great position to do that. So we just continue, sending the guys out to some of these trade shows, and maybe it's to where I can make a few of them and just meet people and do some things like that. But we've got the whole hunting side of things going too. So we're growing that side as well. And it's going to be business as usual, man. Just don't stop, won't stop.
Out of the live fire folks that are kind of in our circle, I'm using quotes for the people that are listening through audio podcast, who's the biggest from a product selling or let's call it top line revenue standpoint? Is it you? Is it Heath? Is it Pittman? Who do you think the leader is in the clubhouse?
Man, it's hard to compete with Matt. Man, Matt does a fantastic job. He's everywhere. He's got a huge following.
Does that translate into business?
I'm sure it does. I mean, I know he stays just as busy as we do. So, we're all, I guess you call us competitors, but we're kind of all doing the same thing. So we're doing this together. But Heath's up there, Cosmo's up there, Jess is up there. You see a lot of it. But in the live fire world, Al's really growing.
Yep.
And so he's doing great on that. There's the SMP guys. They're from Mexico originally, but now I think they're pretty much staying in Texas. And so you're seeing some of their products come out. They've got some wonderful stuff. And I think you're just going to see a lot of these guys that are doing that live fire, that may be doing the social media good. That's the ones you're going to see be the brands that come up. the ones that are, they're out there and they're putting themselves out there. They're taking upon themselves to market themselves. And I think that's what it takes. I mean, you've got to have a presence socially to be successful at it. You can't just stand back and try to cook some contest and expect everybody to know who you are. There's just not that many eyes on it. So you've got to get more eyes on what you're doing.
Last topic tonight, and I appreciate the time. This one has everybody talking. The details are thin at best, along with any real concrete information. But that's the Barbecue World Cup. Have you heard about it?
Is this the Vegas one? That's going to be the $1 million contest? Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, right.
I've heard of it.
Any hot takes on it?
You want to talk about trying to get somebody out of retirement in the contest side? Throw $1 million out there.
Yeah. Any? I
don't know all the details.
Any hot takes?
No, but I think it's fantastic, man. I think me and you talked about that years and years ago, what it would take. What if someone come up with $1 million prize, or it might have been $100,000 prize back then, but I know we've had that conversation. And there's been some that have really tried at those Vegas contests before, and they've had some really good luck. I know they've given away some vehicles. I remember there was a Dodge truck or something like that one year someone won, but I would expect to see all the heavy hitters out there. Probably hard to beat Darren. If he shows up, he's going to be looking for $1 million, and Heath would get back in the ring for that. A lot of the big names would. You would see guys that aren't cooking near as much anymore come out to try something like that.
A couple weeks ago, on one random day during the course of the week, a bunch of competitors and other influencers in the barbecue world were making social media posts about it's the Barbecue World Cup. It's going to happen in 2027. As I said, outside of that, a lot of nothing as far as what's really happening. There is a committee that they've pieced together. The aforementioned Darren Worth is sitting on there. Luke Darnell is sitting on there. Some other people that I can't remember right off the top of my head. Did they try and recruit you at all to do any Barbecue World Cup promotion?
No, I haven't seen anything about that. I mean, I recently just heard about it and thought it was, very interesting. So I'm definitely going to be keeping my eyes open.
You going to come out of retirement for that one?
Man, it would be hard not to. If I got a whole year to think about it too, man, and to get prepared. I mean,
well, you got to qualify. So what we know. Here's what we know. There's supposed to be a end-all, be-all final at some point in 2027 in Sin City. Number one. Number two, during the course of this year, 2026, there will be some number of qualifiers. Nobody knows that number. Nobody knows what contests are qualifying other than one that's in Colorado, wherever Bullhead is. And then I think there was one a little further out west, maybe in Arizona or whatever. So maybe there have been two already, or maybe there's going to be two before January comes out. But outside of that, I don't think a lot of people know a lot of anything else, and the website isn't saying anything else. So got to qualify to then get into the finals there in 2027, whatever that might be. That being said, would you hit up a qualifier in order to try and earn a final spot in Vegas?
Oh, I'd absolutely have to.
Yeah.
Maybe multiple.
Yeah. So, well, good news is this. End of the month, I got Scott Erdman coming on. He's CEO and co-founder of this whole thing. I'm way interested in how they're actually funding this, number one. And then maybe 1B would be what are the logistics here? Mm-hmm. One of the embedded correspondents said a couple weeks ago, one of his worries was if a qualifying event shows up on the same weekend as 4 or 5 other barbecue contests that are sanctioned by other people, is that going to hurt those other ones that have already been on the map? All of a sudden, this one shows up as a qualifier. Everybody's going to leave those because, I mean, who doesn't want a shot at potentially qualifying for that $1 million contest? Is it helping or is it hurting?
I think that's always been the case when something new's come out. It's taken away. It's got to take away from somewhere. We have a finite number of teams that are doing this.
Yeah. Ever heard of Smoke Slam? Everybody?
No doubt. I mean, that's prime example. But I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it might hurt some contests, but if there's something to take its place, and I don't know, man. That's kind of a catch-22 situation. It's good and bad, but I think for the overall, it's going to be good because think of the eyes it's going to draw to barbecue for seeing that. I mean, everybody's going to be tuning in to see who would win $1 million.
Malcom Reed is here, of course. Make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube channel if you're not there. 1.89 million of you are already subscribed as of earlier today when I checked. YouTube.com/@howtobbqright is the place to go for that. Or just go to the website, howtobbqright.com, and you can go elsewhere from the main stage. Malcom, always appreciate the time. Happy New Year, and we'll see you in February.
Hey, thanks, Greg. Appreciate it. You know, we're all going to be leaning on you for all this news about this upcoming stuff. So, man, keep it coming, brother. All the best in 26, and I'll see you next month.
All right, you got it. There's Malcom right there. On his way to a hunt, which is great with Michael. So hopefully, ducks, be ready because your days are numbered if I know anything about what kind of a shot Malcom is. A lot of duck picante, duck soup, duck tortillas, duck steak. I don't even think that's a thing. Primo Grills is something I do know about. Remember, it was the summer of Primo. It was also the fall of Primo. I wouldn't necessarily say it's the winter of Primo right now. Somehow we went from very mild beginning of winter to Arctic. There was no gradual fall off, nothing like that, which is a shame because the snow builds up. And where a younger me was like, hey, no problem. Let's go ahead and get right out there and do whatever we got to. Okay. The older me, it's cold, man. It's cold. But the one thing I do know is if I went out there in the middle of winter, the Primo Grill, once the ceramics heat up, might as well be a 90-degree day in July. Thing's a fuel miser. It's fuel efficient. It's all those things. No worries. So if you're cooking in the winter and you don't care about the weather because I'm a bitch and you're not, you need to be getting the Primo. It's got a game-changing oval design, lets you set up that 2-zone fire that you really want and that is highly desirable by everybody, from the beginners to the experts. It is only sold through dealers, so go to primogrill.com and find a dealer near you. All the accessories you might want as well. It's got a rotisserie basket. You can do like 50 wings at a time. Probably some of the best ways to do wings. Bunch of other great accessories as well. Find a dealer near you. Visit them in person. Touch and feel the ovals. Buy the one that's best for you. Primogrill.com. That's primogrill.com. And we'll be back to wrap up this first recorded show of the year right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
And we welcome you back. We thank Malcom Reed for joining us. HowToBBQRight.com is the website for him. Let's get him to 2 million. ASAFP. Let's not have Matt Osmond bet on when that might happen. No need to have him be welching on 2 bets currently as it relates to the show. Only 1 welched bet per year. All right. Before we head out of here, we are in January. New year, new barbecue goals. Fire up your flavor game with Big Papa Smokers, your one-stop shop for championship barbecue seasonings like the award-winning Sweet Money and the competition favorite Competition Brisket and Steak Rub. Whether you're cooking for trophies or for the neighborhood, make this year the year that you master bold, unforgettable flavors. Shop now at BigPapaSmokers.com and use promo code REMPE26 at checkout to get free shipping. Exclusions apply. Again, that's bigpopasmokers.com, bigpopasmokers.com. Promo code REMPE, 26, REMPE, and then the numerals 26 at checkout to get free shipping. Big Papa Smokers, real life, real barbecue, real results. We are pointing to the second hour where you'll find a visit with Sam the Cooking Guy. Stick around. We'll be right back.